Our recording.
My lord, I never get tired of that, like, obviously robotic voice. It's not, like, even pleasant being like, the recording session is in place. It's like, no, now recording!
It just sounds like the NSA has joined your chat.
Essentially, yeah. That's the closest to a description I would have come. Yeah, NSA has joined the chat.
Okay. I have a question for you. Okay. What? Well, no. Well, two questions. One, are you a superstitious man?
It's in certain situations, yeah. I would more lean on paranoid than superstitious. It's like I worry about shit that I honestly have no cause of worrying. Cause of worrying. You know, but I still fucking do it. Sorry.
I see. So you worry about things even though there's no reason to worry.
Yes.
Okay. My second question would be, what are your opinions or feelings about cloacas?
Yeah. Listen, my guy, we live in a very weird time. Opinions can be detrimental to one's well-being, so...
Are you pro or anti cloacas?
I'm pro. I like chicken.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm one of the few people in the world who actually know what that is.
Well, earlier today, a bird deposited some fecal matter on me, and I was asking myself, is this good luck or bad luck?
Well, that depends. Where was the droplet deposited?
It fell on my right shoulder. Please explain the meaning.
Well, I'd say it's good luck because, man, what are the odds? Come on.
I mean, based off of that, I was like, well, maybe it's good luck. Three things happened to proceed to tell me differently. I was like, oh, what if it's bad luck? What if I'm cursed now?
Go on, I'm listening.
Let's see. I think we've spoken about this beforehand. But whenever I wish to purchase something, I usually remember how much it costs, and I only bring the set amount of money to purchase the thing. I go there, the price has changed, so I do not purchase the thing I went out to purchase, and that was stroke one.
See, that's one thing. That's one thing that this might be actually useful to you. Because the town I live in is relatively small compared to yours. I mean, dude, yours is like, hey, where are you going? For a walk? Where? To a friend. Oh, how long will it be? Oh, the 2 hours. Oh, you're gonna stay 2 hours? No, I'm gonna walk for 2 hours.
Accurate.
Well, if I walked in any direction from where I'm at right now for 2 hours, I'd leave the municipality.
You'd be in the forests.
Or the mountains, or like the what's it called? Or, oh my god. Or the farms, depending which direction I turn. Or if I walk for longer, let's say I walk for 4 to 6 hours, I'm gonna be in the next country.
True. So I think you are basically living every recluse's country dream.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's so far away. No, it's not. It's like a 30-minute walk. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
So,
it's like,
my point
if I
is
want
this.
to leave people, I literally only need 20 minutes and there are no people.
Well, if you're taking the car, yes. If you're taking the foot, no. Like 20 minutes in any direction from where I'm at, you're still gonna have some people around you. But then again, you have to pick which direction and what time of day. Because if you're going like 3 in the morning on a Tuesday, most likely whichever way you go, there's nobody gonna be there.
Fair enough.
On another note, why I even mentioned this is because what I do is I always bring more money than I need for whatever I'm buying If for some reason I somehow manage to injure myself and cannot walk home, or cannot ride my bike home, so I have to take a cab, that is my main reason. Like, wherever I'm traveling, I always bring enough money to be able to take a cab all the way home. Or, God forbid, a towing service.
I think that's the primary difference between you and me. Because if I find myself in a situation where I cannot, like, continue on foot back home or wherever, like, direction I'm going, I would rather sit down and wait until I feel well enough to walk again than spend money going back. Because it's actually happened to me before. Like, I think I walked for 3.5 hours, and it was very hot, and my legs were like, you know what, we quit. So instead of, like, taking a cab or, like, finding an alternative route of transportation, I just sat down on the sidewalk and I was like, I'll just chill here until I can walk again.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea.
It's just my mentality. I don't know why, but, like, I would rather walk than spend a dime on, like, getting somewhere I could walk to. And if I can walk to somewhere in 6 hours, I can walk there.
Bruv, a 6-hour walk, let me do some math. About, you can go about, at a leisurely pace, you can go about 5 kilometers an hour. That's like the leisurely pace. So you'd be like 15 kilometers away in 3 hours. 6, you'd be 30 kilometers away. That is a ways away.
I think the other part of it is, like, I have no understanding of spatial reasoning. So I think of 30 kilometers, I'm like, yeah, that's not too far away. I'm still in the city.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, so in my opinion, if I'm still in the city, it's walkable.
If your trip to my house that once or twice has told you anything, man.
I mean, to be fair, like, we both lived on this same, like, side of the city. We're on, like, the west side of the city, and I live pretty much close to, like, the midpoint, and you lived on the outskirts. And in my mind, it's like, it's still the city. You know, it might just be the outskirts of the city, but it's still the city. So that's walkable.
Did you enjoy the walk?
I mean, it depends. It really depends. I think I enjoyed it because at the end of it was the reward that is seeing you. Speaking of seeing people, welcome to Too Many Bards.
Yeah, longest introduction yet.
Hopefully that was enough waffle for you.
Oh boy.
So for those who don't know, we are two humble bards here to entertain and educate. I am Mazar, and that is Patsy.
What's up?
And I highly recommend walking, but that's not the subject of today.
I recommend walking as well, but everything should be done in moderation, as I've spoken to a friend about it last night, because if you do everything in excess, essentially everything can kill you. It's gonna take a very long time to do for most things, but my worst experience, since we're on the subject of walking, sorry, I have to continue this. But my worst experience when it comes to walking was, I was walking with a friend down the shore, and we wanted to see this one, like, I don't know, I think it's like the end of the shore itself, because it ends in a cliff, and then we'd have to, like, find some trail path to go up it. I was not looking forward to the trail path because it's literally dirt and lots and lots of bushes. Do you know what bushes tend to have in them?
Ticks.
Snakes.
I still think I would choose snakes over ticks any day, to be honest.
Fair. Ticks you don't feel. Snakes you might. Most likely.
You don't feel it until you get Lyme disease.
Yeah. Anyway, About halfway back, so we went there, which took two something hours to walk there. Took a few photos, immediately started going back, like no breaks. Halfway back, she's like, my feet are starting to hurt, and I'm like, my shoulders are going numb, but I don't feel my legs since like we got there. My feet, knees, hips, and lower back are in so much pain they've gone numb, but now my shoulders are up to the task.
It's funny that you would mention that you're walking with someone. Like I've also been there where like I stop feeling my legs. Like the pain just decides to move to other parts of my body. It's like clearly the legs is not registering with the brain. Let's make something else hurt. But I actually learned something. If you really want to test a relationship, take your boyfriend or girlfriend walking and go for longer than 30 minutes. I guarantee you, no greater test exists for how much someone loves you and is willing to put up with you, and them willing to walk more than 30 minutes with you.
You're gonna have to explain this one because it's missing me so much.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I went with an ex. I asked them, would you like to go to this place for dinner? And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. And she was like, are we gonna get a cab? I'm like, no, it's walking distance. It's like, okay, if it's walking distance. She obviously didn't, like, she was not a local, she didn't know where anything is. In my opinion, it was walking distance. Because it was just like down a valley and up a valley. So at most it's like 40 minutes.
Sure. The fact that it was that the valley in question was the Grand Canyon itself is irrelevant.
No. I mean, I wish. I would love to go on a Grand Canyon hike date. That would be great to me. But no, like, so for 30 minutes, you're basically walking like down and into the valley. You know, it's super easy. So I managed, like, they walked with me 30 minutes. And the minute we got to like the start of the uphill, she asked me, so, like, are we there? Are we close? I'm like, yeah, it's just 10 more minutes of walking uphill. And she just gave me a look, like, this relationship is not gonna last. She's like, I just wanted to go to dinner, and you're taking me, like, hiking to dinner.
You know, I wanted to consume food and not take the piss.
But think of it this way, okay? It's a nice nutritional reward for spent calories. You know, you're not gonna gain any weight, you're gonna enjoy a lovely meal, and you earned it. Okay, why go to the gym when you can just walk wherever you need to go?
Jokes aside, teacher who shall be left unnamed, in our high school, had a class that was literally all the way on the top floor. Like the third floor, and for some reason, while most teachers chose to just stay, you know, in their classrooms between breaks for like the shorter 10-15 minute breaks, he would go all the way down to the cafeteria and then go all the way back up.
Man after my own heart.
His reasoning, it cuts down my need for gym by 30%.
Not only that, but I think it harkens back to our great hunter-gatherer days, you know? Like, who wants to isolate themselves, with their meal up in the mountain, in the wizard's tower? No. You want to eat? Work for it.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Mazar, what's today's topic?
Oh, well, today's topic is, one near and dear to my heart, and yours, and like, I use the word heart loosely because, fun fact, I actually thought I was having a heart attack, when this thing occurred. Turns out, it was just a, drum roll please, anxiety attack. Yeah, I actually I had an anxiety attack, and I blacked out and fell down a staircase, and people thought my heart stopped, and so they rushed me to the hospital, and the cardiologist just looked at me like I was wasting his time, because all these exact like tests and everything he did, and he's like, your heart is perfectly fine. It's your mind that is sick, and I don't treat
Oh,
that.
that happens in The Sopranos. Spoilers. Um, that happens in The Sopranos, where they're just like talking, and he just face plants.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so today's topic is anxiety. Everybody has it, nobody wants it.
Yeah. Is that annoying cousin, uncle, or aunt? It just sounds like this and laughs like this. And it's just like, why are you alive? Why am I not legally allowed to prevent you from existing in my life? Please. Somebody.
True. I mean, I think it's one of those things, like, but without getting, like, ahead of ourselves, because, of course, we can't ever start our fun educational component without the definition, but, it's one of those things I think that was useful back in, the day, but now, like, we're too high functioning, and it doesn't, like, our brain doesn't understand what to do with all this delicious cortisol, so it's like, here, just have some I'm sure your ancestors needed it. You probably do too. It's like, god damn it, brain. I just want to enjoy my pizza in peace.
Anyway, do the definition, and then I'm gonna continue with the pizza bit. Okay?
So, today we're actually not using a dictionary. We're using the APA. You can decide what you make of APA what you want. I love finding out what different acronyms are translated into.
APA, Advanced Potato Association.
Anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes like increased blood pressure.
There's another definition.
This disorder usually have recurring intrusive thoughts or concerns, may avoid situations out of worry, may have physical symptoms such as sweating, dizziness, or a rapid heartbeat. Fear they are that's all they really say of value.
Can't like anxiety develop into like a panic attack if it's severe enough?
Oh, absolutely. Like there I think there are different levels, right? And there's the healthy normal anxiety, which is like, you know, maybe I shouldn't toss a water balloon full of kerosene up into the air and see if it pops on one of us. Or god, what was that trend where people were like throwing like hammers into the air and seeing if it would hit somebody?
Just objects, just any objects. It's not hammers. It's whatever they caught.
Yeah. But I remember like eventually people just started throwing like insane crap like TVs or anything.
Get like working chainsaws.
Yeah, you know, like let's suicide bait each other for fun. You know, that's the voice in your head that says I should not do this. That's healthy anxiety. The voice in your head that says, remember that one time you peed your pants in kindergarten? What if that happens right now again?
What if that happens when you meet people who knew you from back then?
What if you meet those people again? Exactly. That is anxiety. And then like you think too hard about it, and it basically becomes as if you are living that moment again.
Yeah. Also, I have something about. Oh yeah, the pizza thing that I wanted to mention. I realized after a while that, like, whenever I get either really anxious stuff, That's easier, easier to cope with. Because anxiety can last for a while, and anger usually subsides after 5 to 10 minutes because your body isn't just made to withstand rage for long periods of time, so it just like calms itself down in ways and whatnot.
True, true.
And what I figured out is like my taste buds shut down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I remember specifically, uh, I don't remember what I was so furious about, but it happened during some meal in the day. I don't know which one. Let's say lunch for the hell of it. And just all flavor left the meal. I was just eating air that had texture.
I think it's fascinating, like when you reach like a pitched anger, like absolute rage, how everyone has like something that doesn't function properly anymore. Yours are taste buds. I kid you not, I actually fainted from anger once. I just blacked out.
I was close. I was close twice in my life. I was close, and it wasn't fainting. It was just like just like that small voice in the back of your head is just really loud, and I wanted to kill this motherfucker. I just wanted to end his life then and there, but I left, and I just worked the life out of me in the gym.
Like for me, I was playing a video game, okay, and I kept getting one shot, and like it's one thing if you get one shot and then you have at least a minute, right, where you can keep playing before it happens again. No, I kept getting one shot in intervals of 10 seconds. I like the sixth time, I yelled straight up, yelled all the oxygen out of my lungs, and just blacked out. I woke up to my head on the keyboard and wondering what just happened.
Oh, dude, I know of this YouTuber. I mean, he didn't have any serious health issues, but apparently he had something going on. I don't know, like, was it health? Was it just like horrifically bad sleep patterns? But the point is, like, he started one video with a friend. He's like, dude, listen, today I went to the bathroom to drop a deuce, and I sat down. Next thing I remember, I wake up with my face on the floor. We just sat down, passed out, face planted onto the floor, and woke up God knows how long later.
Oh wow. Like, back to the definition of anxiety. Here's the thing that struck me as strange, right? You're talking about tension, sweating, rapid heart rate. That's basically athletes. Like, how is it athletes have the same symptoms while playing like a sport that people with anxiety have, and yet they're fit? I actually have an anxiety disorder. I am not fit. Please explain to me the relation.
Athletes actually work out other muscles other than the heart. So that's why your body recognizes. Well, this is my theorizing. I'm not a doctor, so I really wouldn't be able to tell you precisely. But my logic is that your body recognizes something as physical exertion and another as a potential threat to its continued existence.
Why can't existential threat like give us amazing bods as well? You know, like I think it would be a nice recompense for living a life of misery, but at least you look good and like you can live to 90.
Yeah, that don't work that way.
But why though?
100,000 years of evolution, baby.
Curse you, evolution. Why can't I look good while I also suffer? Like a thing I found out actually is like when I have, if I have a lot of anxiety, it really like manifests the same way as like depression would. I've actually noticed anxiety doesn't affect my taste buds, it very much affects my hunger. And I found that the more anxiety I got, like, let's say I'd have elevated levels of anxiety, it would be for like a week or whatever. And I kid you not, like, a lot of people didn't believe me when I said I have high anxiety, like, continuously. There was this, like, you know how phones all got, like, this health kick craze? So they started putting, like, laser readers and everything in, like, the fingerprint thing?
Yep.
Yeah, so, like, Samsung was like, oh, here's a stress reader for you, you know, so you can always check out your levels of stress so you can live a healthier life by knowing when to calm down. Okay? I would use the thing 3 times a day, and it would always be like, oh, you have elevated levels of stress, try meditation. And my friends, or like people who talk to me, be like, that's broken, or like whatever, and they would do the same thing. It's like, oh, you have no, like, you're not in a stressed situation, like right now. I'd be like, so it's not broken, but you guys are always calm, and I'm always stressed.
Sorry, I never pictured you as one for anxiety. I mean, I know you have it. You speak of it. Like, you confide in me of it. But just the picture don't click, man.
I mean, like, I've become better as an adult in managing it, but for the most part, I've found the attacks are less likely to occur. Not impossible, but less likely to occur when I have people around me. When I was living alone, or like I'd be working at the office and everyone's gone home for the day, the anxiety attacks would just hit, and they would hit hard. And we're talking about, like, everyone has a different form. My anxiety attacks would literally, like, I would lose feeling in my legs and would collapse. And, like, have difficulty breathing.
Oh, that means that that time I try to, I wouldn't say wane, but like oversaturate your fear of heights. You didn't actually have an anxiety attack, which is nice.
Yeah, like, for some reason, when there are other people around me, my brain's like, no, it would be too embarrassing to have an anxiety attack. The minute I'm alone, it's like, well, time to almost suffocate. It actually happened to me once. I had an anxiety attack and I fell, like, face forward into sand. And I'm, like, trying to gasp for air. My body is, like, near paralyzed. I can barely move. And so I'm just basically breathing in sand. I'm like, my body is legitimately trying to kill itself.
That's always fun.
It was so much fun. And the problem is, like, they would go anywhere from 30 seconds to 12 minutes.
Boy.
It was not.
Oh, also, that's another thing that I noticed helps whenever you're super anxious or just worried in general. Doesn't matter. Look at the time.
Yeah.
Timekeeping helps.
I found, I tried a few mechanisms, right, or whatever they call it, and I found the best ones are, for me at least, singing the alphabet song. Like, numbers, like, counting didn't really work for me. It just made me feel even more stressed out. But singing something, and by singing, I'm like, I'm terribly trying to sing, because I'm also, like, gasping for air at the time. But trying to sing actually really helped, like, calm down the worst of it for me.
Okay.
I would sing nursery rhymes and the alphabet song, and it, like, I think what it did is it started to give my breathing rhythm, because I would be hyperventilating, and the minute, like, I tried to sing, I would, like, do the breathe in and breathe out component just so I could keep singing. I think that really helped. But speaking of people that have anxiety, I'm going to move into my next topic, right?
All right.
What can you imagine being the most stressful job?
Oh, that's a point of perspective. But let's see. The most stressful job is in my opinion, is the one where one misstep is immediately fatal.
Okay. Yeah, so
It's like you don't even
surgeons.
once, you are gone.
Surgeons and air traffic controllers.
Well, you're not gonna die, so yeah, but air traffic controller definitely. Surgeons simply due to the fact of how impossibly difficult, long, and complicated some surgeries can get. On that note, there was a big fiasco a few years back. I'm not gonna mention where essentially one of the surgeons weren't being paid for overtime when a surgery would extend longer than it should have. So one surgeon was doing a heart transplant, looked at his clock, he's like, "Oh, that's me." Hands over the the utensils, takes off his gloves, and goes home.
Oh wow! Like you really got to feel sorry for the patients in those situations. It's like I didn't do anything to deserve this, you know.
Yeah, but when you work in that field, you become desensitized to death. Like
Oh yeah.
you gotta either have a heart of gold, where you cry a river for every single soul lost, but you don't lose your mind somehow, which boggles me to this day how those people can exist. Or you become completely desensitized, where essentially, unless a walking corpse comes in or gets, gurneyed in, you don't feel it.
True. Like I actually have like a little story about that. I had a friend of a friend who like had to have open heart surgery or something, and like he had internal bleeding before he went to the hospital. So like he came in still fully conscious, checked himself in, uh, was already suffering from internal bleeding from like like a rupture in his heart, and then they discovered that he has like a ruptured heart, and they immediately took him to surgery. The doctor who was like speaking with the family was the most jaded person ever. He and like also arrogant, but he's like, I'm the best surgeon in the Middle East, and I'm telling you, they are not likely to live. Thankfully, friend of friend is like alive. I wouldn't say 100% there. He's still got a lot of recovery because fun fact, when you're bleeding internally, it's the same as if you're bleeding externally. A lot of the parts of the body that need blood don't have blood anymore. So like severe like trauma to the brain occurred, and like he has a lot of recovery to go. I'm probably not going to be 100% back there as he used to be, but he's alive and well. So for once, we actually have a positive narrative to these shows. But like I understand that like the jadedness is very much a self-defense mechanism, because the minute you start like making your professional life as a surgeon your personal life as well, it will destroy you. Like absolutely.
I mean, there's this one word that I make sure to memorize and like keep in memory for as long as possible, because my brain is like a computer with a timer. It's like, oh, you haven't used this file in 12 months. Time to delete it. Hope you don't need it.
Yeah.
So the word called Sonder, Sonder, and do you know what it means?
Do educate me.
It's the realization that every single person you have walked by on the street, seen drive by in whatever vehicle, has a completely fulfilled and equally intricate life as yours.
True.
You are the face that you have just seen. Just a nobody that you will never see again.
I mean, I'll give a positive twist on this for you, okay?
But that was supposed to be positive.
Okay, yeah, but like, here's an example of that, okay? Children, turn away your ears. It's adult conversation time. For I think the subconscious is probably the greatest thing that exists within like a component of humanity for helping us find value in strangers. Okay. I went to a bakery, and what's it called? I've never seen this person before. The person that works at the bakery. I've never seen them again. It was just a random bakery, nowhere near where I live. But for some reason, my subconscious was like, in my dreams, it gave this person an entire narrative and, what's it called? Relationship to me. And I even woke up from the dream like, I don't even know their name. My brain was like, don't worry, bro, we don't need a name. We just need an image to work with. We'll create everything else.
Speaking of odd dreams, one of my weirdest ones, well, where I woke up, if anybody's seen Game Grumps, they'll know what I'm talking about, where like Danny, when I wasn't drunk, I wasn't high, I just went to sleep normally. And I woke up fully believing that I was the character I was playing as in the D&D session.
Don't tell me it was the snake guy.
I don't remember ever playing a snake guy. The witch guy.
The guy that worships the snake god.
Close, but no.
Okay.
Anyway, moving along. What was it? Yeah. So, Danny from Game Grumps a few times got stupid high and went to sleep. And then would wake up with like a severe memory loss, where he wouldn't remember his own name, who he was, where he was, what he was doing, anything. He would like, okay, slow down. My name's Danny. My mom's name is this. This is my job. This is where I live. What day is it? Today? Have I?
It's like one of those parallel universe dreams where like you feel you've lost your identity and a new one has taken place, and then you wake up and you're like, what's that? Who am I again?
Man, that is trippy. I mean, honestly, that episode of Star Trek where Picard lives out an entire life on a planet.
I remember that, yeah.
That's how I picture hell.
I mean,
that's how I picture hell.
I mean, I can actually relate to Danny's story. It actually happened to me once. Like, same thing, but the difference is I actually can't sleep in silence, so I tend to put something to like assist me with as white noise to sleep. Like depending on whether you really want trippy dreams or not, do or don't do this. I think I'd gotten like stupid high more than I normally have ever done before, and before going to sleep, I put Time by the Pachanga Boys. Check it out, it's a nice song. The dreams that I had, like, I was not a human being, I was a deity, and we're not talking about, like, just random deity, no. I was a pharaonic deity fighting against a Paphos to give another day of existence to the world. It was...
You were essentially raw.
It was insane. Yeah, I was raw. It was goddamn insane, to the point that I woke up the next day and I was like, why am I on Earth? I should be in my chariot in space. Like, where are the stars? Where's the snake? And then like,
what?
I turned over and I saw like, what's it called? My mirror and my reflection. And I remember the first thought I had was like, ew, I'm a human. And I was like, oh wait, I'm this guy. And I was like, okay, fine.
Little lies are always something else.
I think like the last remnant of that identity dream, like perfectly encapsulated, is like, imagine you're a deity, and then you wake up as a mortal. Your first reaction, disgusting.
Ugh.
I have a digestive system. Ew.
All the time. That's one of the funnier bits of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy when the Grim Reaper, becomes human for I don't know what reason was, but the point is, he's like, he was so annoyed by being when he was human. He's like, everything hurts. I have to eat and use the bathroom all the time.
It's like a perfect encapsulation of why you don't want to be a human.
No, because before that he would use the bathroom for 2 reasons: shower and brush teeth.
Straight up, yeah.
No other reason to go there. Now it's like every few hours you gotta go, otherwise something might happen, because first it starts off as an uncomfortable feeling of a need, and then later it turns into pain.
Yeah. I think the only reason, like the only way to really enjoy being a human is having absolutely no self-preservation and being like Bender when he became human. Straight up, like, just lived in excess, died in a week. Like, by that point, you feel none of the actual, like, sufferings of human existence. You enjoy yourself to death.
Yeah, essentially. Anyway, onto my subject. How I view anxiety. Like, I rationalize. Yeah, of course, I'm human. I get anxiety here and there. But the reason I get it very, very rarely is because, and this is why when I do get hit by anxiety, I get hit like a truck. Because usually how I work around it is I weigh the personal importance of the cause of my anxiety versus the actual importance of that cause to me. So if something is negligible and it will have essentially no effect on my day-to-day life, I'm not gonna have anxiety over it. Like, okay, sure, I totaled the car. Okay, sure, maybe the repair is gonna cost me several grand in dollars. Okay, fuck it, you know?
Yeah.
I'll pay it in installations. I'll borrow money from people. I'll get it done. It's not an issue. I'm not injured. But when I was graduating from college, my final presentation, I got such a bad case of an anxiety attack that the committee let me go to the bathroom for a few minutes. Because I started hyperventilating, like my vision got blurry. Like it was obvious I was not having a good time.
Yeah. See, so all the symptoms of the definition, yes.
No, I was not having a good time. But that's like when the anxiety is, how do I put this? Self-made? Because essentially I got that anxiety just by stressing myself out to the umpteenth degree. On the other hand, there's anxiety that is, again, same thing I experienced, that has no mental bearing on you, but is just a physical repercussion of your environment. So, to give context, I went kneeboarding, not the most fit man in the world, or fit for that matter at all, and of course within like 50 to 20 meters I fell off. Now, I had enough time to watch how often people got on the kneeboard, and I knew I had about 30 seconds before somebody kneed me in the head. So, what I did was I swam for my life for a good 30 seconds to a minute. And then I slowed down the swim because I knew I was out of the way, because nobody in their right mind would, go that out of the way to actually hit me.
Yeah.
So I slowed down, and then I got out of the water. I started getting a little winded. My vision started to get a little blurry. So I sat down and then proceeded to turn pale as a corpse. My lips turned blue. I started shaking, and that was my life for the next hour.
Oh, wow. Damn. I'm sorry to
And
hear
I'm
that.
just like sitting there and telling Mom I'm actually perfectly fine in my head, but my body is thinking that it just survived a death experience, so this may take a little bit.
Yeah. You know, that's actually one of the things that I actually hate about like anxiety. I love the sea. Okay, I'm pretty good at like pretty competent swimmer. Not a good swimmer, competent, right? I love the sea. I think pools are just trash. It's needless stuff. If you want to actually enjoy like swimming or the water, the sea's where you go. I love going to the sea. Here comes the problem. Uh, I always have in the back of my head being like, if we have an anxiety attack right now, we will drown. And that back of the mind thing continues to manifest itself to the point that I actually end up having an anxiety like attack or stress while I'm swimming. So I end up like always never moving beyond like standing point because I'm like, I'm absolutely sure if I have to like put any kind of physical exertion, my brain would be like, we're gonna drown, and it's gonna try and make me drown. Even though I freaking love snorkeling. I always like, I can't swim by myself. I always have to have somebody next to me. I'm like, listen, I may drown because of this goddamn life condition I've got. So, I'd like to go snorkeling and look at fishies and pretty things underwater. If you see me struggling, please help.
I would literally be the guy because I'm the exact opposite. I am a person who is not too fond of water. Not that I have an issue with it. I don't mind, being caught out in the rain. Fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna get wet, maybe get a cold for a day or two. That I'm fine. I'm not gonna intentionally stay in the rain and the wind. I'm fully aware of long-term repercussions and potential lung infections, which are always fun, but never had them, luckily. Oh, also, fun fact, I had a friend who decided to not treat a lung infection for so long that when he eventually went to the doctors, the doctor told him, if you came 2 weeks from now, you would have developed tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
Imagine developing it, not catching it, developing it.
Yeah, like, that is commitment to neglect.
Anyway, back to topic. So, me and my friend, male friend that that never gonna call you in his life friend from Britain. You know the one.
I know the one.
Glasses McJaggery guy.
Someone's salty.
Nah. It's just the coffee talking. Anyway,
It's just affection. It's how we're like. Honestly, I think that if you don't rag on your friends, are they really your friends?
yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
Moving along. So, what happened was, I went to Greece and I was like, "Hey, dude, why don't you come over?" He's like, "Nah, fam. Oh, it's so far away." I'm like, "Dude, the ticket is like 70 quid." He's like, "Really?" Yeah, he was there in like a day. Anyway, not exactly how the story went, but when I told him how much the ticket was and that the only expense he's gonna have is the food, he was more than eager to come over.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure he had a great time because we didn't do much other than just like watch Hunter x Hunter and just like talk about each other's life. But most of that's the point. He's also not much of a water person. So he took one photo of him standing in the sea, pointing to the sea for his mother, and that's it. That was his interaction with water. Same with me. So if you wanted to go swim, look at the fishies, I would just have a rope around your waist that, be on the beach, and when I see you starting to float without, moving your hands for longer than 30 seconds, I would start pulling the rope and care about your ribs later.
I mean, like, the thing is, okay, I actually have a lot of friends who enjoy diving and snorkeling. So, like, I've got those people around. Problem is, they never want to stick to the coast. I'd be like, there's this zone of comfort for me, which is like, maximum, like, 2K, 2.5K from the shoreline. They're like, no, we've got to get a boat and go out into the middle of like nothing to go snorkeling because that's where all the cool things are. I'm like, okay. And I told them like, I'm probably not going to be as into this as you guys. I tire easily and so on and so forth. So it's literally them having fun snorkeling.
I'm sorry. Back up. Did you say 2.5 kilometers?
At most, from the like shore.
My comfort zone. My comfort zone is 100 meters.
Dude,
Okay, let me explain. Let me explain. Have you ever swam out yonder into the sea and then gotten a cramp?
I mean, okay, you really do not need to plant those ideas in my head. My brain, like the minute it sees the sea, tries to ruin it for me preemptively. It gives me 10 ways to die minimum each time.
Okay, so what happened was I swam out because I was a confident swimmer. It's like I take my time. I ain't going nowhere. I'm fat. The sea is salty. It keeps me floating, so I can essentially doggy paddle my way anywhere and actually not get tired no matter how much I swim. So what happened was I was swimming out and about, enjoying the view of the coast from far out. And what happened was I got a cramp in my leg, specifically in my, I believe it was the right pinky toe.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't sound terrible until you realize that tendon, okay, sure, yeah, it goes only up to the ankle, whatever, but it's connected to a muscle. So essentially my leg would cramp up all the way up to the knee, and it would like distort, like the pinky would distort in a way it really shouldn't. So what I had to do, I had to hold it in. Like I had to keep my foot squeezed hard for it to not do that, so I'm not in agony, so I can breathe normally. And I had to somehow swim with my other hand and leg, arm and leg.
I hate
about 30 something minutes.
Like,
get back to the shore.
Sorry, you were saying?
That took about 30 something minutes to get back to the shore.
Like honestly, I've been there. I've had like like when you get a cramp and one limb decides it doesn't want to like work at 100%. You're swimming. It happened to me, and I think it's even more like infuriating. My own brain even like was like, why don't we just drown ourselves to the bottom and just walk back because it'll be faster. Because your sense of like rhythm is so thrown off that you can't like swim straight if one of those limbs decides, F you, I'm not doing this anymore. You start like doing the wobble as you swim, like you don't swim straight anymore.
Just for, experiment's sake, next time you go to the sea, while you're in the shallows, while in your like neck deep water, okay? Grab your foot, hold it, and swim that way.
That's how you drown. That is how you drown.
Not if you're a persistent bitch who knows how to float.
But yeah, since you were talking about the rope, by the way, that's what my snorkeling friends did. They took me out on a boat, okay, and they threw a life jacket on me, and they all went snorkeling and like diving, and I'm just like sitting there with the life vest and so on and so forth, thinking of the multiple ways that I would be drowning in the middle of the sea. And then they finish. And they're like, okay, so like come swim to the boat and like get up so we can all go. I'm like, I'm actually paralyzed with fear. I can't even get on the boat or like swim to it. They had to freaking lasso me, drag me, and then like literally pick me back onto the boat. And the entire time I was like just paralyzed with goddamn fear. And then they were like, you want to go again tomorrow? I'm like, hell no.
I love how completely inconsiderate they were. Like, I wouldn't want to bring you tomorrow for the sheer purpose of having to drag you onto the boat. Because that is just like, I'm not doing that. I love you to death, I really do. But if you're gonna become a buoy, a bayou, whatever
Buoy,
that
yeah.
floats in the ocean, close enough. When you're in water, I'm just not gonna bring you over. Or better yet, I am, but I'm gonna chain you to a chair and I'm gonna keep you on the boat.
Yeah, straight up, I was like, I do not wish to come. And they're like, no, you can just stay on the boat. I'm like, no, not. I will snorkel near the shore. You psychos can go snorkel in the middle of nothing. Like, you guys tempt your own goddamn
Anyway.
fate. Leave me out of it.
So back to the subject of laziness that I wanted to. Oh yeah, let me just wrap up my previous subject. So anxiety equals personal importance of cause. So usually really helps with anxiety because people who have attempted suicide and survived, halfway through the suicide, usually the point of no return, they realize that 90% or almost 100% of their life problems can be solved today.
Yeah. It's just a matter of your sense of conviction.
Yeah, so that's the same approach I take whenever I'm worried about something. I'm like, will this affect me? No? Who gives a shit? Let's watch SpongeBob.
I mean, many of life's problems can be solved with SpongeBob.
Touche. Anyway, so the next subject I want to broach was how actually lethargy is beneficial. For those of you who don't know what lethargy means, it means a lack of energy or enthusiasm. Now, if you are not particularly energetic, this should help you not have anxiety. That's anyway my experience, because if I'm feeling lazy and I don't have energy to do something, okay, yeah, sure, I'll be worried about something, but I'm not actually going to have anxiety about it. I think that a lot of people mistake anxiety and worry, like I'm worrying because I have a really good cause to worry. Anxiety is like where you're borderline panicking, in my opinion.
Sorry. So yeah, I would actually agree with that. Like, the sense of, there is a difference between anxiety and worry. And, I think there's even, like, a phrase, isn't there, like a mantra or something? Related to this subject. I think it's a Christian mantra, isn't it? Where it's like, God give me the strength to... God, how does it go again? Sorry?
It's like one of those old horrific adages, like, God give me the strength not to kill this bitch today.
I mean, it I think that would be a good paraphrase of it, because I think it's like, strength to change what I can, the humility to accept what I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference, or something along those lines. And I think worry is like when you are thinking of something that is that you cannot change, but you think you can change it. I think that's what worry is. No. I was trying to sound smart. I think the difference is worry is about something that you can't change. Anxiety is something you can, is worry about things you can change. And I think that's the whole selling point of why anxiety hits much more than worry. Because your mind always thinks, this thing should not be a problem, I should fix this. And at the same time, it's like, but I don't think I can, or I'm not ready to fix it. And I think that dichotomy of, I think I can't, and I know I should, is sort of what, hits it sort of gets you stuck. I think that's why we get that sense of lethargy. It's the idea of, I'm thinking hard on how to solve this thing, but I spend so much time thinking about it I feel tired from the thinking and I don't actually do anything.
I think we have a different term for that.
Oh, I think that's sort of like the stemming relation of like anxiety and lethargy, right? Because I think mentally you can be fatigued if you overthink about something, right?
Oh, absolutely. I had an issue, like I had a severe issue at some point in my life during college where I was overthinking to such a degree I was borderline paranoid.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, when we're talking about lethargy, I don't think it's just a matter of like I feel physically tired, but it's just the concept of I feel tired about this specific thing. Like, if you're overthinking things that could go wrong, okay, you sort of become tired about the idea of trust, right? And that manifests as paranoia. And I think a paranoid person is just tired of trusting, right?
Well, yes, but from my point of view, from my perspective, my paranoia was simply due to me actually overthinking to an unhealthy degree. Like, I'm walking down a street and I'm worried about whether a car will swerve and, kill me, even though there's a good 7 meters and a row of trees between me and the cars. And not small, spindly trees, like trees that are as wide as you and me, shoulder to shoulder, like big boys that can stop a truck, you know?
Yeah.
Or a tile falling off the 5th floor and just like crushing my skull in.
But yeah, but like if you think about it, like a lot of us trust things in general, or like people in general, without really giving it much thought. And it's the minute you call that trust into question that you become anxious about it. Because like, sure, a tile could fall off and cave my skull in. But I trust the people that built the building and the people that own the building, like, have covered their goddamn bases. I could be run over. I trust that, someone's more likely going to hit the brakes and damage their vehicle rather than decide I'm I'm worthy of being a collateral statistic, And it's people, it's trust for things and people that I have never met in my life, probably never will. Hopefully, in the case of the car, like being run over, never will. You know? 'Cause I actually look at that a lot, and fun fact, I live in a country where they made a recent statistical poll where they asked just like people of a bunch of different social backgrounds whether they're happy or not. And the poll came out with 69%, nice number, that are actually unhappy. And I think a lot of that, like, doesn't have to deal with people's necessary sense of, like, happiness. I think it mostly is the concept of how much we actually trust one another. Because I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of people just have very disparaging opinions of what are essentially strangers to them. Like, they already come in the gate distrusting.
Yeah, which is why I'm like genuinely happy with my life. I mean, I have a relatively decent family as much as one can hope for. I have a woman who loves me and I love her back. I have friends that I can actually call friends and not just people I hang out with.
Yeah.
I have those, but those I rarely call because I've become such a hermit that I rarely need to hang out with people. Like, no, it wanes off of you after a while. Sure, we are social creatures, and yes, interacting with another person is important, and I stress that to my darling as well because we moved cities. We essentially moved from a city she lived her whole life in to a city she's been only as a tourist, and she had a hard time for the first year actually making friends, but now she has, like actual decent friends. Hopefully they'll stay that way.
Yeah.
And it's going great for her, and she's doing much better and everything because of it. I, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I don't have that need. Like, I'm gonna get the same social value out of, talking to you once or twice a month or once a week that she would going shopping with her friend.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, like we've been friends for like I introduce you as a concept to people as my childhood friend, right? And the reason
Oh,
why I say that, and I think this is like a very specific moniker you give to someone. When I say childhood friend, what I mean is someone who, despite any amount of time passing, I feel like I still understand and know. And if anything like that they feel or I feel is significant, like in terms of things that have changed in our lives, we'd usually share it with each other. Or we'd be like, hey, this, just so you know, this thing happened and it feels like nothing's changed. I think that's the difference between any other friend and a childhood one in particular, especially if you keep up with like friends from your youth, is the fact that we still have the same sort of dynamic no matter how much we've changed. And we have changed a lot. Like, you and I would not recognize our past, like, our past selves would not recognize us, I think. But we've still managed to have that same
no,
dynamic.
no, no, we definitely wouldn't have. I mean, yeah, sure, okay, I could argue to say, oh, well, no, I stayed the same. No, I didn't. It's just that this is another point I wanted to make about subconscious, but luckily you don't shut up, so I don't get to say it. Um, what was it? Yeah, that mental work defeats itself. With physical work, I've probably talked about this, but this is one of the best advices I've heard when it comes to self-help and self-change and improving and whatnot. Is that okay? With physical work, the amount of effort you put in is the amount of result you get. End of discussion. No buts, ifs, or maybes. That's it. Like you work out 3 hours a day, you're gonna look like a god, but you're gonna feel like a slave.
True. Hmm. Uh,
On another note,
yeah.
on another note, with mental work, it's getting that change you want to become effortless and even a habit. How do I put this? I haven't ran like properly, did a jog in probably 10 years now,
Hmm.
but my legs look like they were taken off of the sculpture of David or Adam, whichever one.
Hmm.
And people, like I have a few friends, my darling included, asking like how is that a thing? How do you pull that off? And then I ask her, have you actually paid attention to how I sit up and get how I sit down and get up? She's like, no. And then I showed her. I sit down by literally just tossing myself onto the couch. But when I get up like it's a
Yeah,
squat.
I was gonna say, you probably squat, don't you?
Yeah, I get up like it's a squat. Like no hand assistance, no nothing, no inertia, no kicking, no nothing. Just get up like that. And then when you realize I do that like 50 times a day, suddenly you see the picture.
Yeah. Or you could go to the Russian metro and ride free by doing 50 squats. I think, was it 50 or like 30 or something? Like,
Much less. I think it was 15 because 50 actually takes
yeah,
time.
I think, yeah, people would be too much of a rush for 50. Yeah, it was like 15 or 20 squats, and you get a free you get a free stop to another, like free ticket to the next stop or something like that.
Yeah, but that would like if you go like if okay, let's assume that's Moscow,
Yeah.
all right? If you're going cross city, you're gonna do like several hundred squats by the time you get where you need to go. First, second, if it's just the next stop and you have to get off and do that again, you're gonna take hours to get there.
I mean, I imagine a lot of people like. I think the reason why they're doing it as a free for next stop is like it also sort of reduces congestion, if the people that are just getting on for the next stop are less like likely to crowd in, it might give like more room for people that are like there for the long haul. You know what I mean? And on the other hand, like I think most people wouldn't do it unless they have one stop to go or something like that. You know, why not?
Yeah, that was my. Well, like, let's say 3 stops at most, and you are taking the train that literally, it comes every 2 minutes. So by the time you get off and do the squats, the next one shows up. So it's like you never took off.
Yeah, like I think it reduces congestion. It makes people generally healthier, and because I think every one of us is cheap. Much like our British friend, we'd be like, free ticket, yes please.
No, but seriously, like he came to Greece and went back for the cost of a relatively decent haircut.
I mean, where I live, that would be 7 haircuts.
Where I live, that would be. Let me do a little math. About 100.
I mean, you should have just told him, you know, instead of Greece, why didn't you come to my location and let's get all the haircuts. Like let us continue to tell the barber, you have only 1 millimeter's length to cut to make a hairdo. And like each time you start losing 1 millimeter each time and trying to find out how many different do's you can have until you're like clean shaven.
I think the barber would just kick you out.
It's like, I'm giving you an entire day's worth of customers, bro.
Yeah, because his regulars are gonna get pissed off. I mean, the only feasible way you could do this is if you book a hairdresser like 30 minutes apart and just do like a hairdressing tour of the city.
True. You know, like I'm one of those people that actually can't grow very much hair on my head. So like I've always envied
Godspeed, you compensate on the rest of your body.
I mean, true. But if I go to a hairdresser and be like, yes, I'd like to get my back hair with a do, I think that's another way to get kicked out of the hairdresser. Be like, yes, please do my back hair for me, you know. And got some chest hair too.
You know,
my legs.
You know, if you're looking to stylize it, like let's say you want to cut your chest hair to a Superman symbol and your back hair to a Batman symbol, I think a hairstyle is. I think like a proper barber would be like, you know what, I'll do it.
No, like I wouldn't even want something that generic. I'd just be like, I'd open up their catalog. I'd like go to the mustache section. You know, like that pompadour villain curled mustache. I'd be like, yeah. I want this, but like 20 of them on my back.
Or just like 2 from my nipples.
I want mustaches all over my body. Wherever you can manage them.
Oh man. Speaking of haircuts and whatnot, I saw one dude doing the dumbest thing in the world, which was get his hair shaved. I mean, he was already relatively bald, so you know, like the bald dude. So what he did, he got his head shaved. And then he decided to go a step further. He wanted to get it waxed.
Bruh.
3 minutes of screaming and cursing later, especially with the sideburns bit. That must have been fun.
Okay, I think some people just look at, like, this guy must have alopecia envy. Like, what the actual hell?
What's alopecia?
Alopecia is a condition where all of your body's hair falls out and does not grow. Like, if you've seen someone without eyebrows, they have alopecia. Or they're an idiot that shaved their eyebrows off.
Or, you know, the more common one, during chemo.
True. I've probably called a bunch of cancer patients stupid then. I'm sorry, cancer patients.
In your head, luckily. But hey, but on the other side, from my rudimentary knowledge, chemo isn't only used for cancer, right? It's used for other things.
Um, I honestly don't know. I like it's one of those things where it's just most popularly known for one thing. I'm pretty sure it is. Like chemo is essentially a way to basically attrition kill your body with the idea that sure 20% of everything will die, but the specific thing we're looking to kill will die 80%.
I mean, there's this. I forget what the cure contains, and I'm too lazy to Google it. But essentially, the sleeping
Oh,
disease.
narcolepsy?
No. Sorry, the sleep virus that's transferred by the fly.
Oh, the tsetse fly thing. Not Zika, I think.
Yeah. Did you know that? No, it's not Zika. Do you know that the cure for that has a 10% chance to kill you? And that it's actually radioactive and has to be transported in like a lead
Oh, wow.
container? Oh, also, fun little fact since we're about radiation and stuff. Remember the little green thing that Homer starts off at the beginning of the Simpsons intro?
Yes. Yeah, it's what's it called? It's
Okay.
a nuclear rod.
Yeah, and do you know what's the instruction on it?
Probably handle with care.
No. There's only one instruction written on it. Drop and
Oh, that's
run.
like cesium. Or I think yeah, cesium capsules all have like if you can read this, drop and run.
Except for the first part. They don't write if you can read this. They just write
Yeah,
drop and
because the
run.
idea is like it should not be outside of a controlled chamber. If it is, you need to get out fast. And even then, like immediately to like a hazard dome isolated area for medical treatment, and maybe you'll live.
Yeah, because this one dude did the math, and essentially, from from the 10 minutes ride, let's say that it takes 10 minutes to get from the nuclear power plant to the home of the Simpsons. Homer would come home, sit down, vomit, and then die a month later from severe radiation poisoning.
Not even a month, dude. I would not give him a week. Like there's actually a real documented event. It was at a Japanese factory where they created the nuclear fuel. Fun fact: normally, the precursor to make nuclear fuel is not radioactive, and if it's properly done, it would not be radioactive until you hit it with a that first fission, that first thing to cause a chain reaction. And in this plant, because safety standards apparently were a joke to them, they actually created, God, what was it, like the blue glow when the chain reaction hits? And it was 3 people, and they were mixing it by hand, dude. They were mixing it by hand.
Oh,
Like, you were literally tempting fate. And of course, it hit them in that moment. But there was actually the documented case of the guy whose hand was in the vat when the reaction occurred. So not only was he like in the blast radius, his hand was in it. Okay? He, under medical treatment, survived to 30 days or so. All throughout, his body was slowly deteriorating inward and outward, right up to the point that he had no skin. His skin peeled off. And they were still like trying to save his internal organs until they realized his digestive system started to digest itself. They thought he was still like processing food. It was
ah.
digesting itself.
I think we should honestly I think we should cut out this entire segment about radiation.
I mean, we'll put like a trigger warning, but like
Yeah, put a disclaimer, please. Like, we're gonna talk about some dark, upsetting things from this point. So if you want to end it on a happy-go-lucky,
yeah,
you should
here's
stop
the
here.
timestamp to escape. Oh man. Anyways.
Last subject that I wanted to broach was how can anxiety be beneficial, which you already mentioned to an extent, where it's like, oh, this was useful to our ancestors 9,000 years ago. No, I disagree. I disagree. There's that little bit where it's like, oh, the sixth sense or whatnot, the spidey sense, where you're like, something's wrong. You can't put your finger on it, but your body's not letting you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, anxiety, in my opinion, works similarly, where it's just not like little bits and pieces of information that your conscious brain cannot process, but your subconscious remembers it for some reason, and can connect it to a degree, to at least initiate a little sense of danger. Anxiety, in my opinion, functions the same way, but only on, and I'm gonna probably get some shit for this, on an imaginary level, meaning you perceive negative outcomes before they actually occur.
Yeah.
And that's all due to prior experience. I mean, who has anxiety about something they've never had a negative experience with? Unless you have so many negative experiences with so many different things that at this point it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I think if you think about it, right? Anxiety, and the reason why it's called a disorder is you don't even need to have a negative experience. It's just the fact that you don't know for sure about the thing that troubles you, and you automatically assume if it's possible, it's likely. Like, if it's possible, it's probable. And I think that's why it's called a disorder, because most of us would say possibility and probability are different things. Whereas, like, if you actually have an anxiety disorder, there's no difference to you. If it's possible, it's probable. And, like, it even it manifests in funny ways. Like, whenever I go out with my girlfriend or with friends, and they're like, let's go to this place that we haven't been to in like a year, 2 years. Yeah, we haven't been there in a couple of years. It's probably shut down. A lot of businesses shut down. And I keep doing this, and obviously I'm wrong every time. I keep doing this to the point that they all are like, just shut up. Stop it. I'm like, it's likely to happen. They're like, no, it's possible. That doesn't mean it's probable. Like, businesses shut down. Yes, it doesn't mean that every goddamn business is gonna shut down because you haven't been there in a year.
I had an experience like this with you.
Yeah?
Like, don't hold my word for it, but that rings familiar.
I mean, that's the thing. You probably have experienced it as well. Like, I always assume possibility to be probability. Right? If it's possible, it's gonna happen. And like, if you were to go off of economic predictions for me, the entire global world would be in a depression.
I mean, my favorite bit about probability and possibility is you on that roof having almost a panic attack because you're afraid of heights and like, I'm not moving because I'm gonna fall, and I'm just like, hey, even if you fall off, you're gonna fall off onto like my neighbor's terrace. So like, at worst, you might break a bone. At best, you're just gonna like wind yourself.
Oh yeah,
and that's
like,
it.
Even seeing the thing didn't change my mind. Like, seeing you walking on the edge of a building, you remember, I think I like straight up begged you for 5 minutes solid to get down, because in my opinion, you were going to fall. And even watching you like do that for 5 minutes, or even more, and then hop down like it was nothing, and like you finally came down, I was like, don't do that again. Because I'm like, this time it didn't, but it might the next time. It's like, How many times do you have to see me do it to believe me that's not gonna happen?
Was it the narrow ledge or was it the
was not
wide
narrow.
ledge?
Like, you had a good 1.5 feet of space. Like, you could comfortably place a step.
Oh. Oh my lord, then it's good. It's a good thing you didn't see me walk on the narrow ledge. The lower part of the building. The lower part of the roof. You know, the one that's like 4 or 5 inches
Oh,
wide.
God. Oh, the anxiety's already rushing
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, I walked that a lot, and a few times I did almost fall, but luckily, I mentally prepared myself in advance to, if you lose balance, just spread your legs and spread the one on the inside further out, so that way you will lean in that direction. And that's exactly what happened. My ass hurt for a while, but still.
Okay, I could have gone an entire lifetime without hearing that. Ah!
No. No, I'm gonna make it worse for you, but I'm not done. I wanna drive this point home. Keep in mind that the difference between falling off of the foot wide and the 4-inch wide is about 5 stories.
Okay, I literally have pain from the pressure in my ears due to how much my blood pressure just skyrocketed. And we're talking about the past. We're not even talking about the present. You are talking about a hypothetical in the past and it is driving me insane.
Yeah.
Why do you torture me so?
I don't know, man. I'm hoping to desensitize you to your fear of heights. Not height. Okay. No. Like I've had this discussion with people before. It's like, oh, you're not afraid of heights. No, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling off of them. So if I am secured well enough, or at least confident enough in my ability to not fall off of said height, I will not have that fear.
Okay, you're talking about heights. Do you know? Like, I'll give you before this particular moment. The last time I was triggered by heights, I was walking up one floor to another in a mall. The staircase was made of a bunch of glass. You know, like those layered glass are each step.
Yeah.
I psyched myself up. I got halfway through the staircase, and then I noticed I'm halfway through, and that's even worse of a fall, like, to die from. So I began to slow even further. It's like with each step I took, my brain was like, even worse death, to the point that I got to the last 2 steps, and I was like frozen solid, and I was like, just grabbed the rail with all my might and had to drag myself up the last 2 steps. The minute I got back on solid floor and could not see, like, the stories below, I was fine again. But, like, that was worse than going up the freaking Himalayas for me, man. And we're talking about 1 story of stairs.
Let me give you the last time I had a fear of heights was when I entered into a abandoned construction site of a skyscraper. So this bad boy is currently under construction. It's been about 10 years since then. They're finally finishing it, so yay. But back then it wasn't. Back then it was just abandoned. It had trees growing everywhere, how, long forgotten it was. And the upsetting part was the staircase was just that. Just poured concrete staircase, no railing, and the worst part is no wall.
Oh my, okay.
So if you trip and fall from any point, you're falling all the way down.
These are all very traumatic experiences for me. My fingers have gone numb.
My guy, should I mention that this bastard was like 13,
Nope,
14
nope,
stories
nope,
high,
nope,
and I
nope.
went all the way up?
Nope. Nope. Not gonna think about. Think of puppies. Think of puppies.
Oh wait, but it gets worse. Not for me. Not for me. I was a smart man. I was like, you know what? I know my limitations. I'm gonna stick to the wall, literally shoulder to the wall, and just, not think about that. Just walk. And then I got all the way up, and a few junkies upstairs didn't appreciate my existence there. So what they did, they climbed to the top of the building, because there's no stair. Keep in mind, this is unfinished building, so there's no staircase and no ladder taking you on the very top, like on the roof of the building. So what they did is they would step on the wall, grab the ledge from the outside, and pull themselves up.
Moral of the story: don't do drugs, kids. You will go insane.
And I was just sitting there looking at him like, hell nah.
Dude, that is... You are literally describing a nightmare to me. The only thing that's worse than the duress of the heights is another a threat. While, at that point, I would literally just sit down and accept my fate. I would be like, I am going to die. This has been my life.
Well, it wasn't a particularly bad life, wasn't a particularly good life, but it was comfortable, so I guess it was okay.
I'm just glad that you weren't subject of a news article about two junkies.
I was subject to a news article about a nightclub burning down. Because what happened was I was looking, I heard there was this college party at a nightclub, and I was looking for it, and neither me nor the cab driver could locate it, and we both tried locating it by music, but we couldn't find any place that had people standing in front or going in and out. So we both just gave up. I think he didn't even want to charge me, because the first time he drove me, he took me to the complete opposite side of the city, by accident. Not by accident, by mistake. So, yeah, I don't think he even charged me at the end. I don't remember. But the point is, I gave up, went home. Tomorrow, wake up. Guess what happened? Club burned down. People died.
I am so happy you didn't go to the club.
No, don't worry. I'm one of those bastards who pushes people and walks over them.
Crushes are real things that happen. You remember the Soul Crush, right? So
Wow.
there was a party, New Year's or something, in Seoul's clubbing district, and it was fully packed.
Okay.
Something, I don't know what it was, caused a panic in a couple of people, and it created a crush where they all kept shoving into one another, and 100 people or something died, just being trampled and pressed into walls against each other. Businesses were opening their businesses that were closed, right, for the night, were opening their doors and letting people in just so they could escape from the crush. Because the roads were very narrow, a bunch of alleyway roads.
That is horrific. I mean, there was a similar thing that happened around here, but the main difference was, and this is where I just draw the line at stupidity, because I blame the deaths of all of these people on the one moron, the security guard, who wanted to evict someone, and that someone didn't want to come with them, so the idiot, keep in mind, this is a closed environment, took out his pepper spray.
Oh god.
Pepper sprayed him in a fully packed club.
That's not going to get
Now,
to
what did we learn about gases? What did we learn about gases in middle and or high school?
Enclosed environment with pressure, likely to cause fire, likely to cause panic, spreads everywhere. Like, all you need is a spark when you have gas and a
so-
pressurized environment.
Yeah, luckily the pepper spray is inflammable, but that's beside the point. The point is, people who weren't even close to it got
Yeah.
pepper spray in their eyes, and eventually I know some people even died due to suffocation, but not from being crushed, but from the pepper spray preventing them from breathing, because you can't breathe anymore, and suddenly you have a panic attack, which makes you not breathe even
Yeah,
more, and then
yeah.
you die.
Dude. Well, I feel like we're ending this episode giving people even more reasons to be anxious. So why don't we end it with something to help reduce people's anxiety?
Nothing matters.
Okay,
Do what you want.
I would recommend that you use the same de-stressing activity that Winston Churchill used to use. Lay bricks. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Winston Churchill's favorite relaxation activity was building a wall. I kid you not.
This is why I'm seriously considering spending 3/4 of my paycheck buying a power washer.
It really helps. I find, do something physical, simple, and rewarding. That'll help.
Oh, absolutely. Like, power washing is rewarding every single inch of the way. It's not like, a gift that happens later. No, like it's a gift that keeps on giving. The moment you start is the moment you see a result.
Like, it's right there with r/so satisfying.
I don't follow that, but I do follow power washing porn.
I don't actually use Reddit. I'm just trying to fit in. I'm old, okay? You're the same age or so, but I'm old. I'm a few minutes older than you, and that's old enough.
Yeah, old enough for all of that. I think it's endorphin, the happy hormone. Yeah, you're old enough for all of the endorphin to have left your body before mine.
True. Well, to everyone out there, enjoy your day. Buy a power wash, lay some brick, or smoke pot. Whatever works for you. If you are under the age, do not, of course. Yeah. I wouldn't try to corrupt the youth. I am a good person. Like, watch all those kids stealing their parents' credit cards to buy cement and bricks.
Hey, you'd be surprised how many people I know who actually work a manual physical job. I think is that called a blue collar or a white collar job? I keep forgetting.
Blue doesn't show stains as much.
Okay, so yeah, you'd be surprised how many people I know that work a blue collar job and
dude, I'd freaking love it if it didn't pay ass.
Well, do you like to paint walls?
I find it very sad. I painted my own walls.
Come to my country. We have such a deficit of them. You have to book them further ahead than a wedding.
Make my fortune.
I kid you not. And they charge like crazy. Because it's simple. Okay, I'm free. Let's say you call me today. I'm like, okay, I'm free mid-August. How much of the surface do you need painted? This and this much. Okay, that's gonna be 3,000 euros. And you're like, that's too much. Okay, call somebody else. Bye.
I will paint your walls for half that price.
No, it's ridiculous, and that's simply because a lot of them left the country, going to other places that are obviously better paid, which created a deficit, and then the country itself rolled in, the government itself rolled in, creating ridiculously large jobs that required 50 people, all of the same, what's it called?
Profession?
The word.
Trade?
Thank you. Yeah, trade. That's the one I was looking for. all of the same trade for like 8 months.
And people say communism is bad.
At least. No, it's not communism. It's not communism because, you'd be paid the same. These people are like contracted. So, and when I say, imagine if Abdul Mal needed a paint job in and out.
Oh my god, that is enough money to retire.
Yeah, that's 50 people working for 8 months. Because it's not just like, oh, we gotta paint it over. No, there's parts of the facade falling off. You gotta replace all of those.
Okay, so time to quit our podcast and become professional painters. All right. Until next time, me and Patsy are gonna go out and buy some paint.
Hey, but seriously, like, the power washing thing, it's not a joke for me. I'm seriously considering doing it, and I'm probably gonna save up money for a little while to do it.
If you ever find we just stop making episodes on this podcast forever, you know what happened.
Follow us on Reddit.
Alright. Bye, everyone. Catch you in the next one.
Okay, abrupt ending. Sure, why not? Bye, everyone.
We're busy being
Catch you next
tradesmen
time.
now.
Man.